What's up, Animangians, and welcome back. So today is not going to be a reaction or a review. It's going to be more of a rant. During the past couple of weeks, I've been perusing the internet, looking at a few things, and one of those things was the reactions to that new Terminator trailer that we got. I wanted to make a video like this a little while ago, but I wanted to kind of sit back and wait and get a sense of what the Terminator community thought of that trailer. I know that there are some people who hated it, there are some people who loved it, they love the direction that the franchise seems to be going in, and then there are some people who are on the fence, and I would be in that latter category of people who are on the fence. It could go either which way. At least that's how I was. Until recently, there came out some news of some people who saw like an early screening of the movie, and even though whether or not its authenticity is in question, a lot of people seem to think that it is true, and those rumors or the reactions to that movie or some of the news that came out of that wasn't necessarily great news. It made a lot of people in the Terminator community upset. And I'm going to get into that, so if you don't want to know anything about the movie, about any possible spoilers or leaks or anything, you might want to click off of this video, because I can't really say what I'm going to say without going into that kind of territory. So in this summary of the film, it was said that John Connor was going to be killed very early in the movie, which is why there's supposed to be like a de-aged Edward Furlong, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, because Edward Furlong's John Connor is supposed to be killed early in the film, and then that's going to kind of open the door to the events of the rest of the movie. And there's a new character, this new girl, who's supposed to be the new leader of the resistance. Since John Connor has died, he's no longer the leader, and so the future has changed. And now, you know, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, is going to aid this humanoid robot in protecting this new leader of the resistance, since she failed to protect her own son, John Connor, with the help of a reprogrammed Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's responsible for killing John Connor as a child. So when that came out, a lot of people were just really upset about that. I can't even say that I was happy upon hearing it. Now, I am skeptical. I don't know if that's actually the case, if that's really how the movie is. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why James Cameron and Tim Miller would go in that direction, unless they are really being swayed by the state of the world politically, that they would feel like this is the direction that they have to go in for the series. But I mean, if it is, then it is, okay? If the movie is good and is entertaining, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be upset with it. But I kind of wanted to talk about the reactions of some of the fans out there. Some people were saying that people were upset because they're misogynistic, or they don't like where the series is going, because they don't like change or something, or the series has been stagnant. It's about time we got something else. And while some of those people have certain, some of those points are good, you do have some men out there who don't want to see women in the lead role. You do have some men out there who don't like change, like seeing anyone new coming into the franchise, and you do have some people out there who are just being completely unreasonable about the entire thing overall. But I would like to think that some of these fans are just upset because it feels like it's making the first two films unnecessary and like they don't matter, okay? And that's how I feel. I feel like if they kill off John Connor early on in the film and kind of make Sarah Connor the savior of this other person, then it makes everything that Sarah Connor has fought so hard for, it makes it moot. It makes it so that it doesn't matter at all. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. And on the one hand, I can see how this could be going in a more refreshing direction, right? You have a new female protagonist. You're bringing back Linda Hamilton, who at this point is probably really confident in her Terminator killing skills. And of course, the death of her son is probably going to make her have like some other mental issues that we could explore. Who knows what's happened in the past 20 years for her. I think that catching up with Sarah Connor years later, especially after a traumatic experience like that, could, you know, lend way to some extreme heartbreaking character development that I think we would all love to see on screen. And we all know that Linda Hamilton has the acting chops to play that out. You also have Grace, the cyborg who's come back to save the person, which opens the door to expanding the Terminator future lore. I mean, there are definitely pros, but what are the cons? Getting rid of John Connor, who's become synonymous with the Terminator series, with the legacy. I mean, the first two most successful films had John Connor as the hero. I mean, the first movie, he wasn't born yet, but the second movie, which is arguably everyone's favorite, he was a very, very important character. I'd say he was the main character of the second movie. So to kill him off before we really get to see his story told, in a way kind of cheats the audience, especially the audience that's been there since the beginning. I've been watching Terminator since I was a kid. My dad got me into the series, and he was a huge fan of the first and the second movie, not so much the ones that came after that. And I can't really argue with him. Number 3 kind of tread the same territory as 2. 4 tried to do something different, but it wasn't very entertaining overall. And then you have Genesis, which we're not going to talk about. So, you know, each movie has tried to do something different, but they've all kind of stayed in line with the original narrative, which is John Connor is the savior of humankind. Sarah Connor needs to do whatever she can to make sure that he makes it to that point where he can save humanity. Doing what they're doing in this next movie basically means that Kyle Reese is unimportant. John Connor is unimportant. Sarah Connor doesn't matter, because in the trailer, they're asking who she even is, which, you know, lends credit to these leaks that they're probably true, unless the trailer is cut in a way to be misleading. You know, I just don't know. But I do think that it's unfair for people to just automatically assume that anyone upset with this change in narrative is wrong, or that they have no reasons here, or that they should just accept where this story is going. I don't feel like that's fair at all. I feel like you need to understand that these are people who have been invested in this story for 30 plus years, and they want to see that story come to an end in a satisfying fashion. We want to see the future that Kyle Reese came from, and we want to see what Sarah has fought so long for. We want to see that actually pan out. We want to know that Sarah actually didn't give up a normal life for none of it to matter. And I see how they could be trying to make that the case, but in my opinion, it just wouldn't be enough to satisfy these millions of fans out there who just want to see that story told. So anybody who's thinking that, I just feel like maybe you just have the wrong idea. I know for a fact I'm not a misogynist. I know that I'm completely fine with any changes. Sarah Connor is one of my favorite action stars ever. Linda Hamilton. Sarah Connor is one of my favorite characters in a film ever. Okay, I love John Connor. I love what he represents. I love the Terminator series, and I just want to see a film that gives credit to the story that I've watched, and actually give that a definite end. And there are some people who are saying that, you know, retreading the same ground with John Connor is wrong, and it's old, and we need to give it up. Okay, sure, but can we do it in a way where John Connor is still important? I mean, I know a lot of people have some things against the new Star Wars series, but at least those films kept Luke, Han, Leia. They kept them all in the movies, and they're trying to give them a worthy send-off, even though, you know, Luke's send-off is a little a little questionable, and so is Han's. Well, honestly, I can't defend those, but at least they tried to give them something worthy, to give the fans something that they could root for, you know, to keep them invested. If you do this to the Terminator series, what reason do we have to come back and watch it? Just to see Linda Hamilton or Sarah Connor fail and try to make up for it with someone else who doesn't matter? I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right, which is why I'm kind of hoping that it's not true. And if some of it is true, that at least they do it in a different way that satisfies longtime fans of the series, of the franchise. Because I feel like that would really hurt it more than anything if they decided to go in that direction. I'm completely fine with a woman taking the helm. They did say it was going to be a bit of a torch passing, which is completely fine. Hey, go ahead and give someone else an opportunity to shine in this franchise, by all means. And if you want it to be a woman, great, okay? But you don't have to, you know, take John Connor and make his role in the story unimportant or less to bring someone else in. I don't think that that's necessary. I think that you can do that in a way that's classy and that means as much to you as it does to the fans, and it can still bring in those new fans, kind of like what The Force Awakens tried to do with its first film. Take some pointers from that, okay? It made a ton of money, and while some people didn't like it, a lot of people did. That's all I got for you. What did you guys think of the trailer, and how do you feel about this new direction that the Terminator series seems to be going in? Do you agree with me, or do you feel like I'm a misogynist and I'm a woman hater as well? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions from your boy Derek, right here at Anamanji. Don't forget to click that like button, and do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will know when I post again. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.